Winners and losers, some who won forever, some who lost forever. Gleanings from television in the 50s.
A number of events have made it evident that General MacArthur did not agree with that policy. I have therefore considered it essential to relieve General MacArthur so that there would be no doubt or confusion as to the real purpose and aim of our policy.
That old soldiers never die. They just fade away.
A fellow townsman of ours used to tell Abraham Lincoln. He said he felt like a little boy who had stubbed his toe in the dark. That he was too old to cry, but it hurt too much to laugh.
The great ones of the earth could not hear the cry, for they could not understand how a God could be greater than a man.
Mr. Halleck, all due respect to the son, which I have an awful lot of respect for, I'm not going to answer another question. You just said I'm not under arrest and I'm going to walk out.
What I need mainly is three things in life, possibly four. To be out of jail, to eat regular, to get what I write printed, and then a little love at home and a little outside.
When you get really pooped and you want something to pick you up, you get yourself a cup of tea.
Whenever I hear this passage, I'm always filled with wonder and respect for the way Brahms makes everything in his music out of something else in his music. It's all part of one great thought, and every single part is a branch of the same great tree. Listen to this section. Calabash, wherever you are.
To most people, television is just entertainment. But to the federal government, television is a regulated industry. In the late 1950s, American broadcasters had to answer some embarrassing questions put to them by a congressional committee. The most popular form of television programming in those days was the quiz show. 24 quiz shows were on in one season alone. Millions of people watched millions of dollars given away to ordinary people who seemed to have extraordinary knowledge. Well, it turned out that many of those quiz shows were rigged. People had cheated, although who did the cheating has never been made very clear. Most of the quiz shows were owned and produced by packagers who made programs and sold them to the networks. But somehow it was felt the networks had something to do with the cheating too. In the late 50s, Dr. Frank Stanton, then president of CBS, threw all the quiz shows off his network. The question to him is, when did CBS first realize there were rigged quiz programs on the network, and what did you do about it?
Well, the first tangible evidence we had was early in August of 1958, and within a week of the charges, we took the program off the air.
Dr. Stanton, do you think it is possible to put on quiz programs that are not rigged, or that are free from any possibility of rigging?
In the action we announced back in October, we did not think it was possible to put on quiz programs with big money stakes and lavish prizes where you weren't running the risk of the possibility of rigging.
How were the quiz shows rigged? Well, there were lots of quiz shows, and they were all handled differently. But in sworn testimony, the story of the rigging came out. Let's have a look at some shows and see how they were fudged. Every quiz show purported to hold the questions secret, some locked up in bank vaults by respected members of the community.
From this point on, all questions come from locked vaults and manufacturers trust companies. Manufacturers trust companies certifies that only authorized members of the bank have the keys and combinations of the vault. No members of the production staff of this program have the keys and combinations of the vault. And except for the editors...
The editors testified before a congressional committee that if they wanted to know what the questions were, they just went in and got them. Quoting from a sworn deposition.
I had a key to the safe, and I and my assistant would go in to get the questions.
Question. Was a full series of questions generally kept in the bank?
Answer. Not a full series.
Question. One of the purposes of the bank was to give the impression that it was impossible for the contestant to get advance help of any kind?
Answer. Yes.
Question. Was this a false impression?
Answer. Yes.
So this bank official, who didn't know how it was done, was simply misled when he said,
"No one has seen these questions. Not Mr. March, not even I."
Gentlemen, your next question.
But why would the producers and editors want the questions? Well, to give the answers beforehand to the contestants. Somebody up there made very strong hints about which contestant he would like to see win or lose, and somebody in middle management would take the hint as law. Look, here comes a very hard question to a contestant, even a contestant specialized in knowledge of the theater.
Romance plays a major part in countless plays. I will name the feminine member of a romantic team from 2 different American plays. For $4,000 in each case, first, name the play from which the character comes, and then name the male half of this theatrical romance. The first character is Patty O'Neill, and the second character is Maggie Cutler.
The contestant is Wilton Springer, who submitted the following statement to the House Investigating Committee. It reads in part, "About 1 or 2 hours prior to my appearance on the program, I had a meeting with a producer in a dressing room. To some of the questions she asked me, I knew the answers. If I didn't know the answer, she supplied the answer." Here's one of the answers he was given.
That would be the man who came to dinner.
Name the male half of this theater romance.
That's Bert Jefferson.
You're right, and still champion. Come on out.
The man going into the glass booth is Xavier Cugat, the band leader. The woman is Lillian Roth, the singer. Somebody wanted Miss Roth to lose and Cugat to win. So one of the producers went to Mr. Cugat's hotel, and from Mr. Cugat's sworn testimony, this is what took place. Question. Did one of the questions asked you on the show involve Cole Porter? Answer. Yes. Question. Do you remember a producer saying to you, of course, you know that at one time Cole Porter was a member of the French Foreign Legion, and you said you didn't know that? Answer. Yes. Question. And then on the program, did they ask you whether you knew Mr. Cole Porter had once been a member of the Foreign Legion? Answer. Yes.
And you have a chance, sir, of winning $16,000 and the championship. Now, do you know this composer who joined the French Foreign Legion?
Yes, the composer was Cole Porter.
You're right. Come on out. Say no more. You're the champion.
Why cheat in front of millions of people? Or was it cheating? In further testimony from Xavier Cugat, I knew it was not on the up and up, not when they told me the questions and answers. Question. So you went into this thing knowing that the show was fixed and you were participating as a routine performance of entertainment and there was no contest at all. Answer. I felt it was entertainment. What they wanted from me was a show. That is what I tried to give them. Question. It was entertainment as far as you were concerned, but as far as people watching the program were concerned, they were deceived, were they not? Answer. Now I know that they were. These scenes of suspense were not all phony, but enough were so that everybody was embarrassed. These highly rated and cheap-to-produce broadcasts disappeared from prime time. The basic question raised by the quiz show scandal still persists. What is entertainment and what is information? And do you have to keep them apart?